welcome back for our second video of the day. And of course, I wanted to get these going a little bit earlier, so just look forward to me starting to do these a little bit earlier as I can. But for now, we're just going to actually go into things. This is actually a wrestling video, of course, so we're going to talk about some ongoings over the weekend, and of course, going into the weekend. Now, this one I got to talk about specifically because I actually really and truly relate to this in ways that don't make me the happiest. But we're going to talk about Asuka real quick. And of course, as it's been reported, her Twitter unfortunately has been hacked, as she's seen here. Oh my goodness, I just realized she is so lovely. Man, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be bringing that up now, but I mean, look at her. See, I can't. I'm not trying to be crushing or anything, but look at her. It's just so picturesque. It's just amazing. But that's all aside from the point. I'm sorry. I just had to do that there. Anyway, she, of course, is seen here posting the video. I'm pretty sure this is on her YouTube channel. Definitely go and check that out. She's awesome. I haven't been watching nearly enough of that because she does actually share a little bit of her ongoings and her life as well as her career in the videos of said channel. But this one in particular, she spoke both in English and in Japanese in detail about what happened with her account. And of course, this is really, really unfortunate. You don't wish this upon anybody. But again, I relate to this specifically because a lot of you that are watching this that actually are subscribed, that also follow me on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, unfortunately, you're following a secondary account. And I guess I shouldn't say unfortunately so much, but that's just the truth of the matter. It is a secondary account. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. And I have to say that simply because of the fact that my Twitter, of course, was at my original account. And I've done so much in and above and beyond my power to try to get that resolved, but unfortunately, that's no longer the case, and I can't even log into it without there being issues. I can't do anything. Just, I don't know. Unsubtle shout out to Elon Musk and all that, but that's neither here nor there. It's just really unfortunate, especially given the fact that we haven't really seen Asuka on TV for what has to be at least a handful of months now. And, you know, she's of course been recovering from some injury situations, and I gotta say, it's just kind of tough because it seems like there are times where she just can't catch a break. This doesn't need to be one of those things, so best wishes to Asuka. Hopefully all of that gets resolved a lot better than what my situation was. I mean, I have a good account now, which is actually getting strong. I'm just imagining where it would be right now, but that's neither here nor there. It's just really, really unfortunate, and of course it does have to be emphasized, and I've learned this lesson as well. Be careful of the shit that you click on. You never know what you're going to wind up getting, just like that box of chocolates that Forrest Gump was talking about. But anyway, I'm going to move right along, and this one's really, really intriguing. One, Mr. Brian James, of course, as we all know as Road Dogg Jesse James, is back on SmackDown Creative as actually co-head of SmackDown Creative, which, whatever that means. I mean, I didn't even know that would be such a title, especially with Triple H being the chief of content, but I don't know. It's just really, really wild. Of course, given the fact that he was released back in 2022, and of course he's known to be an ally of Triple H, has also been a friend of his, I'm sure. Of course, you don't have a group like DX and not have relationships with all those individuals, you know. I'm not even going to go into that. It's just really, really interesting. I did watch SmackDown, but I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I don't remember a whole lot about it. I don't necessarily plan on rewatching either, especially since we got Raw coming up here in a little less than 6 hours. But to me, I know people feel a certain way about Brian James in particular as a person. Never mind the whole Road Dogg aspect of it. But to me, This is one where I feel like the jury's out because, again, a lot of people are not talking very highly about this most recent episode. I'm not saying it was necessarily a bad episode or anything. Again, I don't remember it, but also, in all fairness, there were some things that I was dealing with personally that make it a little difficult for me to remember. Of course, Vengeance Day on Saturday, to me, it was a pretty good show. I was disappointed overall, in all honesty, and not even so much with results. It's just, it didn't really feel like a true NXT PLE, which I gotta say, if we're being perfectly honest, looking at the standard of said NXT PLEs, they've largely been knocking it out of the park. They didn't do that on Saturday night, and not that this is Brian's fault here or anything like that, but he was a part of that team. I gotta imagine, Trips does actually still have involvement with a lot of things going on with NXT, so I'm going to imagine at some point, Road Dogg is going to have some influence there too, but I don't know necessarily that him coming back is a bad thing at all. I mean, I guess we'll wait and see. I'm just finding it really, really interesting, the things that are being said and that have been said in the past, but I don't know. I mean, that's just neither here nor there. It's just really, really interesting that it's been treated the way that it has been. But like I said in the comment section of another content creator's video, time will only tell on this and on this next subject. Perfect segue action, right? But anyway, we're actually going to talk about that man, the walking weapon himself, Josh Alexander. Now, oddly enough, there was an incredibly heavy expectation at one point that he was going to be joining WWE, in all likelihood joining NXT, and I hate to say it, it's actually needed in a lot of ways. I know I talked earlier about my disappointment with Vengeance Day. I'll probably save that for another video, maybe today, more likely tomorrow, but all that being said, I gotta say, this one's really, really wild. A lot of people don't like the idea of him going to AEW. I don't entirely blame anyone for that, especially my best friend Darren, who, much like a number of people that have signed with AEW, all he's had to say is that it's a mistake. Which maybe it is. I don't know. I'm doubtful of that because, one, if you've seen any of the stuff that we've heard about from Maple Leaf Wrestling, run by Scott D'Amore, there's been a lot of stuff that Josh Alexander has been doing involving AEW talent. And of course, they've actually had a mix of TNA and AEW talent on that promotion. So with all that being the case, I kind of gotta beg to differ on the whole mistake aspect of it. And also, just as a heads up, I'm also planning a video where I'm going to be talking about this, specifically the state of affairs with AEW, and just where a lot of people need to just really chill the fuck out, especially you, Darren, but that's neither here nor there. But I think this one's really, really interesting because I feel like this is a really good get for AEW. I'm a little disappointed with WWE for not making the offer that this man actually deserves, because of all the people that WWE has been bringing in, and I'm pretty sure they've been pretty lucrative deals depending on who we're talking about, there's no excuse for this not being one of them. None at all. I don't give a fuck what you say, whether you think him going to AEW is a mistake or whatever. And I've said this before countless times, again and again. I don't give a fuck where anyone signs, as long as they're happy and as long as what they're doing reflects that. Now, maybe that latter part isn't necessarily going to be the case, but that's the thing to where we got to watch how we speculate, y'all. Seriously. Because for all we know, this dude probably gets thrusted into the main event scene, thus injecting some energy that is much needed right now, which I've talked about recently as well with AEW, especially in their main event scene. I mean, I don't see where this goes wrong. And of course, in the case of Ricochet, also mentioned as a mistake, you look at what's happening with him right now, I also beg to differ on that. I'm sorry, I just do. Because at the end of the day, we got to be looking for what the payoff is going to be. And he's not being treated as a mid-cutter. I mean, going against Swerve Strickland, that's some pretty main event territory if you ask me. But that's really all I got on that. I'm not even going to touch it any further on that. I'm actually looking forward to what we see from this. So, yeah. That's all I got from here on that for now. Y'all know what it is. Like, share, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think down below. And, of course, this has been your time with A&J, and I appreciate you spending it with me.